If you've been playing NASCAR games since the mid-2000s, just imagine if you were able to go back in time and tell yourself that, hey, this is as good as it's gonna get. NASCAR games are gonna get worse as time goes on. Your past self would never believe you, but unfortunately that's been the reality. I haven't said a single word on this channel about console NASCAR gaming ever since NASCAR Ignition launch. I pretty much said that it was unacceptable to release a game this broken and left it alone after that. But man, so much has come out since that video about a ton of things regarding the people behind Motorsports Games, like the CEO being a scam artist and a bunch of other shit I'm not about to dive into. If y'all want to get more details on that, check out also Ogoniski channel. Where should I even start? Can y'all really believe that it's been about 20 years since we got a great NASCAR game on consoles? That is insane, sad, fucking pathetic, just downright depressing. A game that was released on the PlayStation 2 is still one of the best NASCAR games on consoles. Think about that. That's 3 console generations ago. Technology has massively improved and Thunder 2004 still remains king all these years later. Yeah, we've been fortunate to get a game just about every year, but these games for well over a decade now have either been mediocre or just downright terrible. Every year we get our hopes up just to be disappointed release after release. This didn't start with Udine, by the way. The downfall started with EA. Yeah, they're responsible for giving us the greatest console NASCAR game to date, but they're also responsible for dropping the ball after NASCAR 06. Actually no, scratch that, NASCAR 05. The gameplay and presentation was a downgrade from Thunder 2004. No more pre-race and post-race. Well, it was kinda there, but generic as hell. The AI tires didn't wear, which put the player at a major disadvantage and made it so infuriating trying to play that game. And the career mode wasn't as detailed when it came to the R&D side of things. After 05, EA got lazier and the passion was pretty much gone, and eventually they lost the license. There's been great things about some of the games after Thunder 2004, but it was usually overshadowed by other problems like bugs and glitches, AI issues, and missing basic features like a fucking mirror or being able to look behind you. Then when these basic features are finally put in, the community celebrates this, and it just tells you how low the bar has been for quite a while. You can load up NASCAR 2001 and find a track map, a fuel and tire indicator, and other small features that are missing in the newer games. That's just embarrassing. For years, everyone has given feedback on how to make these games better, from being on the forums to making YouTube videos. I feel like for the most part, everyone has been on the same page when it comes to what we want to see in these games. That's actually all I was doing when I first started this channel, was making videos about what we want to see in these upcoming NASCAR games. I watched a ton of videos of people being very detailed on what these games need to make them great. Yeah, you had some people that was asking for some stuff that wasn't as important at times, but there were still solid ideas, and after all that feedback we gave throughout the years, it barely went anywhere. Either we'll get these features but they don't work properly, or we'll never see these features and improvements at all. And it's super frustrating because a lot of the stuff that we've been asking for is from past NASCAR games. Publishers and investors want these games out by a certain time, and they decide on what direction the developer should go for the next game. And usually these publishers try to go down the route of microtransactions, which is sad. If these people really cared about putting out a quality product, they wouldn't be releasing a title every year, and they would actually listen to what the community wants. Speaking of the community, y'all need to stop settling for mediocrity. These companies don't care about putting out a quality product. It's been that way for a long time now. If they see that they're still making a lot of money despite putting out a bad product, they're gonna continue to do that because they don't have to put in as much effort. What's the point of them working harder if they still making a ton of money with a bad product? It's messed up, but that's just how it is. You got people in the community that complain about these games being shitty, but will go out there and pre-order the next game they put out and buy all the DLC they release regardless of how the product is. Stop rewarding bad business. If something is bad, simply don't buy it. How do you expect things to get better if you keep giving these guys your money? You got people constantly making excuses for not only these bad games, but the DLC. And holy shit, this is a whole nother can of worms I'm about to open. I'm so disappointed in the NASCAR community. A lot of people actually bought the 2022 NASCAR Heat 5 DLC. Motorsports Games actually had the nerve to charge people for a roster update that's outdated. This should have been free, no questions asked. You don't get any alternative skins, either just primary. They said this isn't a season update, it's a next gen car update. Okay, so why did they remove the tracks they no longer go to in real life? Chicagoland, Indy Oval, Kentucky, and a few other tracks were removed from the game. Then there's other issues like DLC that was purchased from the past being gone and just a bunch of other stuff. All of this stuff gets a pass just from what I'm seeing from the community. You're going to enjoy this DLC for a few months and then you're going to get bored with it and start begging for a new game. This whole thing is a disaster and the community once again buys into it. There's people that have big platforms and unfortunately you still got those few that try to make excuses for this company. They still think this company is going to develop an IndyCar, touring car, and a Le Mans game after all the info that has come out about Motorsports Games. And even if they were somehow to release these games, do you really believe they're going to be good? How can you have faith in Motorsports Games after the disaster of a release that was NASCAR Ignition? Yeah, they could possibly bounce back, but the likelihood of that is very, very low. All you gotta do is use logic and some of these people don't do that. Shout out to those who do have a big platform and are actually calling out not only Motorsports Games, but the consumer base as well. Black Flags Matter has done it, and also the Iceberg. These are guys that have over 50,000 subscribers. Quit watching people that blow smoke and doesn't want to be critical because to some people, that's coming off as a negative Nancy. No, it's called being real. Sadly, we've been in a position for a while where we're even playing older NASCAR games like Thunder 2004. That's what I've been doing for a good minute now. Or going to iRacing. And let me just say this right now, iRacing isn't the ultimate solution. I'm getting sick of people telling me to get on there. First of all, while I like racing online, it's not something I always want to do. I'm a career mode guy. I want to experience a deep and immersive NASCAR career experience. Everything a driver deals with in real life, I want to experience that through a video game. It doesn't get better than that. I want to negotiate contracts, start my own team, sign endorsements, experience drivers retiring, dealing with the research and development side of things, and much, much more. iRacing doesn't give you that. It's just online racing. I understand they got AI, but there's no career mode with it. Yes, I understand the experience is way more realistic than what we experience on consoles, but that's not enough to make me want to go out there and spend over $1,000 on a PC. iRacing looks cool, I won't deny that, but I just don't see myself having loads of fun consistently. Racing online, well shit, playing online in general gets frustrating because you got people that troll and take this shit way too seriously. You got these people that go on iRacing, end up being good, and think they're good enough to hop in an actual race car. Okay, William Byron is the only example of that. It's not something that's common. For those who don't have iRacing, it's super unfortunate because the best NASCAR online game they got is NASCAR Heat 5. There's still plenty of leagues running on that game, and the reason why is because NASCAR Ignition is awful. Nothing on that game works, and this is after many patches they have released. I can't believe you got people that try to give that game some credit. Oh, you can drive through the garage area. Man, I don't give a fuck about that. The game is in pretty much an alpha stage. Who cares about stuff like that when the game is completely broken? I feel so bad for this younger generation because they aren't experiencing great NASCAR games on consoles. When me and my peers were coming up, we experienced great NASCAR games. They were actually ahead of their time. Putting out quality NASCAR titles will help capture that younger audience that NASCAR desperately needs. My first NASCAR game was NASCAR 2001, and shortly after experiencing that game, I was hooked on watching NASCAR, and the rest is history. iRacing isn't going to do this, especially with it not being affordable for everyone. The whole point of gaming consoles is to play great video games for a more affordable price and not have to fool around with things like graphic cards and all this other shit you gotta set up on PC. Get a console for like $400 at most, download or buy the physical copy of the game, and load the motherfucker up. That's it. If anybody comes in and saves us from Motorsports Games, it'll probably be Monster Games with the iRacing partnership. But other than that, I don't see anybody being eager to get the NASCAR license. If NASCAR was still mainstream, then yeah, but those days have been gone for a while. And to be honest, there shouldn't be an exclusive license. Just let anybody make NASCAR games. The exclusive license shit is exactly why we're in the situation we're in now. If anybody is actually sitting here with hope that Motorsports Games will turn things around, you're delusional, and sadly I still see these people in the community. I would love to sit here and say that there's some hope, but I just don't see any signs of it right now. Most of us are sitting here waiting for Motorsports Games to die, but these motherfuckers are still surviving and it's annoying. We, the NASCAR community, deserve so much better. I shouldn't be loading up NASCAR Thunder 2004 in the year 2023, but here I am. How much longer do I have to do this? Because there's no other better option on consoles. I still remember when NASCAR Heat 2 didn't have statistics and a YouTuber named Disco Inferno, who you should check out by the way, made a rant video about it, and you actually had people in the comment section calling him a whiner and saying things like split screen is more important, because if y'all don't remember, 704 was making a huge deal about that, which is a feature that's outdated. And then you had people telling him just write down your stats on a piece of paper. And unfortunately, this isn't the first time people have said this. I remember a tennis developer telling someone the same thing on the forums back in the day. It's a fucking sports game, but apparently this isn't that important to some folks. We live in a time period where people just settle, no matter how bad and unacceptable something is, and it drives me crazy. It's not just with NASCAR games and video games, but other stuff as well. The fuck out of here with telling us to write down our stats. I'm gonna wrap this up. There's no hope. There's absolutely no hope right now, and I hate to say that, but I don't see any signs of things turning around for the better when it comes to these NASCAR games. New hardware ain't gonna change a motherfucking thing. You would think that, but it hasn't. Man, I just want gaming to be fun again. I can't even get excited for any releases because I'm afraid the game is gonna be broken when it releases, and guess what? That's usually the case. These games aren't filled with content, and these developers purposely do that and try to add in content over time, but will charge you for it. Alright, now I'm done. So I'm gonna hand it off to you guys. Do you have any hope for console NASCAR gaming going forward? Let me know in the comments. I'm gonna go ahead and roll up out of here. Y'all have a good one. Peace.